What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you are well. My name is Mark, and today we're checking out some more r/AmITheButtHole. And if you love a Reddit story, would you please do me a favor and click that subscribe button, maybe the notification bell too, and if you're feeling extra spicy, the like button as well. And let's crack on with today's stories. Much love, guys. This story is from PowerSwitch5679, titled "Am I the Arsehole for cancelling my daughter's horse riding camp application after she cancelled her brother's job application?" I'll try to summarise this entire conflict that happened over a month / barely 2 months now. I have 2 children, Mia 16 and Ricky 18. Mia used to work at the local coffee shop for 2 months but didn't commit nor respect time and had no work ethics. As a result, she got fired, but she didn't accept it and kept begging her former boss to get her job back, but couldn't. She was so heartbroken over losing her first job this way, and besides, the coffee shop is or used to be her favourite place. Also, she was saving up to attend a horse riding camp but didn't have enough money, so I promised to pay for her enrollment and application. A week after she got fired, she learned that her brother Ricky was trying to get her previous job. She went mad and kept begging me to not let Ricky apply to work at the coffee shop because her friends will find out and say the manager picked her brother over her. I thought that was over dramatic of her, and plus Ricky is the one to decide which place to apply, so I told her to leave it alone. Mia refused, saying if I don't do something, then she will. Days later, Ricky told me and his mum that someone logged into his email and cancelled his job application at the coffee shop. He said he spoke with a manager and found out someone sent him a rude email pretending to be Ricky, saying he was cancelling his job application and he was no longer interested in working at the shop. Adding insult to the coffee shop and the staff and the manager himself, etc, etc. The manager kicked Ricky out and even banned him from the shop completely. I immediately shouted for Mia to come downstairs, and after pressuring her, she admitted sending the rude email to the coffee shop manager to make Ricky lose the job opportunity. She defended herself, saying she felt awful that Ricky was planning to take her place at the shop and couldn't let it happen. I was mad. I told her I'm automatically cancelling her horse riding camp application and taking the money I paid back. She tried to argue and cried, saying I promised and I knew how much this meant to her, but I said that was automatic response to what she did. Point blank, period. No buts or ifs, besides the fact she had to apologise to Ricky. My wife called me an arsehole for not seeing where Mia was coming from and said my love for her was conditional since I promised to pay for the camp, but took the money back soon as she upset me. Mia hasn't been talking to me for 2 months except for basic words like good night, goodbye, etc. And my wife said Mia has every right not to talk to me ever again if she wanted. I wonder if I went too far or whether Mia deserved a punishment. I won't even get started on how awful Ricky felt and is feeling because he's developed trust issues ever since. Edit. A lot of folks have been asking whether Mia had talked to the manager or explained what she did to her brother. The answer is no, because she refused, saying this would ruin her reputation and threatened to run away if we force her to talk to the manager. With this threat and my wife's pressure, I had to back off, but I went to see the manager and we talked things out, but Ricky still couldn't get the job, unfortunately. I always find it worrying when someone of sort of that age, or any age really, goes behind someone's back and plots something so devious, going into someone's email, criticizing people at the shop and being rude about them and sabotaging someone's job like that just because it was their old job. It's a really toxic mentality, and you can almost see where it was coming from when the mum is sort of backing this up and saying to the husband that she has every right to never talk to you again after what you did, after what the husband did, given her consequences for her actions, and apparently that's the wrong thing to do. Absolutely not the arsehole to me in this situation, but I certainly can't see things improving either with the way, the wife is reacting about this whole thing. But Snazzy Susie Q says not the arsehole, she did this to herself. And maybe I was an arsehole who says, listen to this OP, Ricky wasn't only hurt by his sister, he was and has mostly likely been hurt by his mother for a very long time. This blatant favoritism didn't happen overnight. He needs to know that he has at least one parent who won't see him as second best to his sister. He needs you to put your foot down and say enough. I won't let you treat my child this way. It's not right. Mad Queen says not the arsehole, she did this to herself. Does your wife usually favour your daughter like this, or is it a new development? You guys should have made her go to the coffee house, explain what she did and apologise to them as well as cancel the camp. Does your wife think there should be no consequences? OP replies saying, usually, yes, and quotes, does your wife think there should be no consequences? And then says, no, my wife thought I should use regular punishment like taking her phone, having her care for gardens and pets for a week, or clean or wash dishes. But I thought this type of punishment wasn't enough because what she did was not a small mistake. It was permitted. Ricky not only lost a job opportunity, he no longer goes to the coffee shop, which is also his favourite place too. Capicale replies to OP saying, you two need to take a step back and reevaluate Mia's behaviour. Poor work ethic, unreliable, lying, vindictive. Ask your wife, is this the person she wants her daughter to be? At 16, she should know better. Obviously, she feels the world should make allowances and excuses for her, as her mother does. Mia needs to apologise to the coffee shop manager immediately. Perhaps tell her you would reconsider horse camp if she does so, in person, and apologise to her brother. Not the arsehole. Perez fam says not the arsehole. In my opinion, you should never have paid for it when the only reason she couldn't afford it was because she was being irresponsible. So to top it off with this behaviour, you are not the arsehole. Maybe you should make her go and confess to the manager, even if it changes nothing for your son's position. ETA, love does not mean they get to have zero consequences. You will love her enough to give her consequences for her actions and help her grow into a better person. Narrow Department says not the arsehole. What does your wife mean by where Mia is coming from? Mia sounds like a horror show and your wife is okay with it. You've got a lot more going on than a rude email, and it sounds like Ricky could use a little extra support from you to be safe from his sister. And one more from Droner Man who says not the arsehole. Also, your daughter needs to apologise to the manager of the shop for deceiving him and to her brother for slandering him, and you need to be present both times to ensure that she does apologise. Now, what do you guys make of this story? It's a pretty vindictive one, isn't it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and we'll move on to the next one. This story is from a throwaway account titled, Am I the Arsehole for Not Siding with the Other Wives? Background, I've been with my husband for 6 years total, married for 2. We have no children and do not plan to. My 27 female husband, 32 male, has a group of guys that he's been friends with since elementary school. After college, they all moved back to the same area, and several of them rented a house together until they started getting girlfriends and moving out. After they moved out, they still had guys' nights nearly every Friday until COVID happened. They started back up a few months ago after restrictions in our area relaxed, and the majority of the guys started getting tested regularly because of their jobs. There is one single guy, let's call him B, left in the group, and they meet at his house and hang out in the carport to drink a few beers and just shoot the shit. I've never had a problem with my husband, W, going to guys' night. He gets off work at 5 and is usually home no later than 8 every Friday. He never drives home drunk, and if he ever does have a few too many, I don't mind going to pick him up. I feel like I should note that we live the farthest away from B's house, about 15 minutes. All the other guys live within walking distance of B. Usually I bake cookies or other snacks for him to take with him to share with the guys. I don't mind driving the other guys home if needed. If we have plans or anything, he doesn't go. Since the guys' night has resumed, the other wives have been complaining about it. We're friendly, but none of us are really good friends like our husbands are. We've tried to have girls' night while the guys have their night, but most of them have kids and we don't really have anything in common outside of our husbands. It was just awkward. One of the guys, A, is married to F, and they have a 1-year-old baby. F has been particularly vocal about not wanting A to be out every Friday, as she wants help at home. The other wives backed her up and started a group chat asking that we present a united front to cancel guys' night. Here's where I may be the arsehole. I refuse to side with them. It gives me time to unwind after work and has become part of my routine. So when the other wives told their husbands that they didn't want guys' night to happen anymore, I told W that I didn't feel the same way and he should keep going. He enjoys it and he should get to see his friends regularly. So after the confrontation, the other guy started with, why can't you be cool like W's wife, or she lets him go, she even makes us cookies and picks him up, etc. A apparently made the comment, I wish I was still single like B. He can do whatever he wants and I miss that. All the other wives are pissed at me, saying if we had been a united front like they planned, guys' night would either be cancelled or a less frequent occurrence, once a month. So, am I the arsehole? And we got a couple of edits which gives us some additional information, so we'll cover those right away and we have an update afterwards. Edit, some info to clear up some assumptions I'm seeing in the comments. All the wives work. I do not know if the mums get nights to themselves like the guys do. I do not know the details of their family dynamics. I do know all the wives have tried to have girls' night amongst ourselves and it didn't work because we have nothing in common. I'm pretty sure all the wives have other friends, but I do not know when/how often they do things outside of the home. I send cookies and treats because I make them for my blog, not just to make them for the guys. I did not respond to the original messages in the group chat. I found out that the wives confronted the guys via my husband. Edit 2. I logged in this morning and I was completely overwhelmed. This got way more attention than I was expecting. Thank you for the awards. I've never gotten Reddit awards before. I showed this to my husband over breakfast this morning and his initial response was, "So does this mean you're Reddit famous?" Lol. But we agreed to read through the comments together tonight and try to come up with a solution to help ease some of the tension in this friend group. Thank you for all your input and apologies if I don't respond to your messages and comments. I have a busy work day and like I said, I was completely overwhelmed by the response. And we'll start off with a deleted user who says not the arsehole, then goes on to quote saying the other guy started with, "Why can't you be cool like W's wife, or she lets him go, she even makes his cookies and picks him up, etc." A apparently has made the comment, "I wish I was still single like B. He can do whatever he wants and I miss that." And then goes on to say, "Those guys are total arseholes." To which No Regrets replies to that one saying, "Imagine that at the end of a work week, these guys want a night to relax and the wives take care of the kids alone to make it happen. They work too. I guarantee they too would love taking the night off, and instead of being appreciative, these dudes whine that their wives don't bake cookies or come pick them up despite being within walking distance. If your spouse is taking care of the kids alone so that you can have a weekly night out, you make them a meal snack cookie to show your appreciation and make their evening a touch easier. And you don't ask them to take the kids out at 8 PM. Get everyone in their kids' seats and everything, just so you don't have to walk home or accept a lift from a friend." Jokey haha says not the arsehole, the wives are arseholes, the other guys are arseholes, but this is also coming after being together for 25 years. Back when we had little ones, I would likely have understood the wife's position more. Weekly might be a bit much, why not every other week or once a month as a compromise? Willow Girl says not the arsehole, but I don't necessarily think the wives are being arseholes either, unless the ones with kids are getting a night off as well. I totally see where they're coming from, and the husband saying all that shit is just messed up. They're the real arseholes here. Peppy Penguin says male A needs to stand up himself and do the right thing by his kids and skip out on some guys' nights to take care of his kid. Everyone else can still hang out when they want or even cancel for him, but he's definitely the arse here, not the arsehole. And one more from Oil See You Later who says no one's an arsehole here between you and the wives. The husbands, not yours, are arseholes to both of you. Their shitty husbands are their problem, and you being fine with weekly boys' nights is absolutely fine. But I hope you're not doubting the wives because you don't know what it's like to raise their kids or how helpful the dads are or aren't. They might be entirely valid in being angry the guys can spare a whole night off a week for the guys but not take care of their children. And if they're immature enough to whine to their wives that they wish they were single or wish they had a cool wife, in guessing they're pretty shit husbands and fathers. I'd express to some of the women that you had no idea some of the guys would act so childishly and drag your name into it, and that while you're still not comfortable stopping your husband, that you understand better where they might be coming from. That might keep you from being ostracized from barbecues anyway. Now let's move on to the update to see what that says. So updates. A lot has happened in the last 3 weeks, but I'm going to try and condense it for the character limit. After reading all the replies together, W and I decided it would be best for him to confront his friends, particularly A. He told them it wasn't cool to try and throw me under the bus with their wives, and that their wives, especially the ones with kids, need and deserve time to themselves too. According to the guys, all the wives are getting time to themselves without the kids each week, with A's wife, F, getting the most time out of anyone. She works until 4, but doesn't pick up their baby until 7 every day. She has a workout class 3 times a week and a standing girls night every Wednesday, where she doesn't come home until 10-11 PM. A picks up the babies on Wednesdays. W and I held a brief socially distanced get together in our yard to clear the air. I confirmed what the guys had said about the wives getting time, and the wives admitted that they do, whether it's manicures, gym time, book club, etc. That's when I found out about F's social schedule. They then confirmed that all the guys were attentive and involved dads. W later told me he was sure his friends weren't complete shitbags, but was glad to have the reassurance. Then it erupted into a fight between A and F, with A saying he only gets 1 hour a week to himself since he gets off at 7 and is home by 8. F broke down and started screaming that it wasn't the time to spend with his friends, but his comments the following days. She then turned on me, literally pointed and screamed that it was my fault, that during the lockdown, for the first time in over 5 years, she didn't have to listen to A talk about me all fucking weekend. I was shell-shocked and didn't know what to say, but W jumped in and told her she could not talk to me like that and she should probably leave before she said something she couldn't take back. F left and A stayed. Afterwards, the other wives admitted that they only agreed the ultimatum after F relentlessly persuaded and pushed them into it. I've never seen this side of F before, so I had no idea she could be like this. A has been sleeping at B's house for almost 2 weeks now. He's still picking up / spending time with the baby, but he doesn't sleep at his house. He says they're going to try therapy, and if that doesn't work, they'll probably separate. As much as I dislike the guy, I feel bad for him. Guys' night has resumed. I still send cookies, but W says he doesn't bring me up and shuts the guys down if they try to talk about me. Damn, and what a twist there. Now what do you guys make of this story? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll move on to another one. And our next story comes from Pway6667, titled, "Am I the arsehole for losing it with my sister when she found out she was punishing my niece? I, 40 female, have a sister, 42 female, who has a daughter, 14 female. She was recently diagnosed with cancer. It is some kind of bone cancer, not entirely sure which, and thankfully they were able to catch it early, and with treatment she will most likely live. She had a chemo day today, and my sister / her mother had me pick her up, as she was busy I believe. I don't mind and even consented to being able to pick her up almost any time if my sister informs the hospital beforehand, as my job is flexible. So I arrived and then picked her up. She was fine, just looked a little bit in pain and looked incredibly tired. She made small talk and then started checking something on her phone. She started tearing up, so I asked her what was wrong. She said she got a B in math and a C+ in English, and midterms were being sent home. I said with what she's going through, that's pretty good, and asked her how her other subjects were going. She said they were all A's, and I said, see, you're doing great. She said that her mum would be mad at her. I said that she probably would understand, and she said that she would still be mad. I said that I would try to talk to her. I drop her off, and the moment we step in, she starts screaming about the grades, saying things like, do you want to be a failure? Are you even trying? Stop being lazy and start studying more. I was pissed and told her she was being ridiculous. She said she wanted her daughter to do better. I said that she has fucking cancer, and she should be happy that her daughter is doing so well with that. She told me to get out of her house, and I realised I had no power or leverage here and left. I tried calling her, but she told me to shut up and mind my own business and told me I was being horrible for being so rude to her. I'm starting to think she is right because I could have been calm and spoke to her about why I disagree with her. Am I the arsehole? Absolutely not the arsehole in this situation. I'm feeling kind of enraged just reading this story. You know, that sister doesn't think her having cancer isn't going to affect her grades at all. Going through chemo, which just absolutely, from what I've heard of stories and saw from my dad, can wipe you out. I'm not saying everyone, but it can absolutely wipe you out. And that she just came out of a chemo session and then immediately looks at her phone and realized she got bad grades, and that's what she's worried about more than what she's going through. Incredibly heartbreaking. Not the arsehole at all for me. But Love Me Long Time says, wow, OP, not the arsehole. Your sister now. Maybe don't piss off your sister so much that she might block your contact with your niece. The little girl could probably use fun and supportive aunt in her life. Bunny Elizabeth says, not the arsehole, but your sister sure is. When I first read the title I was unsure, because I usually side against people trying to butt into other people's parenting. But holy shit, what the fuck. When I felt egregiously ill as a freshman in high school, I was so thankful to have my teachers and both parents supporting me on balance in school and health. It helped me to succeed. I cannot imagine the stress your poor niece is going through. Your sister was clearly in the wrong for being so degrading. Great American Man says, not the arsehole, your sister has lost her ability to be compassionate or feel empathy in this situation. And that's so sad. It's also worrying that your niece began crying when she saw the grades. It makes me wonder just how severe your sister's punishments are. It might have been best to approach her more calmly, but in that moment, your outage was clearly justified. Definitely not the arsehole. You keep fighting for your niece. She's lucky to have you around. Say a Song says, not the arsehole, but your sister sure is. She seems to think that having cancer and going through chemo shouldn't stop her daughter from being as studious as she was before. Nothing could be farther from the truth. Both cause pain, and pain impedes a person's ability to concentrate. Your niece needs as many allies on her side as possible for this. Are there any other family members that can back you and she up on this and help get your sister to back down and realize that all she is doing is creating more stress for this poor teen, and that the added stress will impede her ability to heal from this dreaded disease? Can your niece ask her doctor, teachers and school counsellors to come to her aid, as well to talk to her mum? Maybe if she hears it from enough people, she will realise what a total arse she is being to her sick daughter. And one more from Bamf170701 who says, not the arsehole, your sister is, to be honest, insane and incredibly cruel to your niece. Your niece is going through something that is difficult even for adults, and like you said, she is doing great considering the stress she is under. I am even more impressed considering the extra stress living with her mother is causing her. Honestly, stress is bad for the immune system and a person's health, and the pressure your sister is putting on your niece is hampering her ability to fight off the cancer. The time to worry about her grades is when she's done with her treatment and her health is back to normal. Also about her grades, when I was in high school, I had more than my shares of B's and C's. I suffered from depression and had difficulty doing my work. And now, here I am 25 plus years into my career, extremely successful and happy. One's performance on a few tests does not determine how successful one will be in life. Now, what do you guys make of this one? What could they do to convince, the mother in this situation about the daughter? Now, what do you guys make of that story and all of today's stories? If you choose to share your thoughts, I would love to hear them. A huge thank you for spending 20 to 30 minutes with me today, getting involved in the channel. It means the absolute world. A huge thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I will see you cheeky so-and-so, in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love.
Boxes are defeating, purpose always fleeting. I pose questions to the ceiling like an answer gonna come. Truth is too revealing, life is easier concealing. All emotions till the start on your heart going numb. I shouldn't be in drive more, I just wanna feel alive more. I feel hurt all the time, boy, I can't see straight. I've been